think he's a good kid. I've said in the past that I think he can be a champion, and I do think, just like I said with Jared Anderson, I think Jared and Moses are very, very both good fighters.
Like my skill set, if you're talking about my ring IQ and what I display in the ring, I feel like I am the best.
So I was like, listen, just be careful. And I messaged Moses. I'm like, Moses, just fight him, but don't put him to sleep that.
Derek Chisora has never been one to sugarcoat the truth, and when he talks about the looming clash between Moses Itauma and Dillian Whyte, he's blunt to the core. Moses will destroy Dillian. And that's not just a headline for clicks, that's gospel from a man who has lived through the war zone of heavyweight boxing. Chisora is a dog of war, and when someone like
I even phoned Dylan. I was like, Dylan, I don't know why you're taking this fight, because this kid is on fire right now, and he's getting better and better. It's not like he's going backwards, he's going forward. Moses is on fire, so we're just gonna decide who's gonna go to prison when Dylan gets.
Tim warns Whyte to back off. The boxing world listens. Because this isn't just hype around a prospect. Moses Itauma isn't merely promising, he's a full-blown problem for anyone standing in his way. Chisora knows it, and he's not alone. Even Tyson Fury, the reigning heavyweight king and master of mind games, has something to say. When Fury starts questioning what Dillian Whyte has left in the tank, you better believe—
See how much that Dillian Whyte has left, and could this be potential? I think it does have the potential to do what Martin McCauley did to Jared Anderson. Maybe it's too early, or maybe he passes with flying colours, and that's why you got to watch it and find out. But one thing I will say about Moses is he's a very good fighter, good little boxer, good puncher, and a lovely kid as well. It's like a sponge.
Believe it's serious. But Fury's words about Moses aren't just casual compliments, they're the kind of praise that carries weight. Fury calls him a sponge, someone who soaks up knowledge and grows with every fight. But Moses isn't simply learning, he's weaponizing what he learns in the ring, breaking down opponents with a ruthless efficiency that belies his young age. Then there's Peter Fury. He's trained world champions, seen talent come—
Fabulous talent. He's got speed, he's got power, he's tough, he's game. He ticks all the boxes so far. So let's see. Again, he's young. He's not really been tested because what he's doing to these opponents. So let's say it's early days, but big future.
And go, and his comments about Moses only add fuel to the fire. Peter isn't just nodding politely, he's ticking boxes like a scout evaluating a future world champion. Power, speed, toughness. Moses has it all. The reason he's untested is simple. Nobody can last long enough to truly—
And we need to almost see the old school Dillian Whyte who, wasn't afraid of anyone, would put it on anyone, because Moses is still only 20. And I almost feel like if Dillian needs a path to victory, it might start from outside the ring first, and then we'll see. Because there would have been a time when Moses has grown up and he's watching Dillian Whyte
test him. He's not passing exams. He's dismantling the exam itself, and that's where Aid Oladipo's take hits home. This fight with Moses isn't just a challenge for Whyte, it's an identity crisis. The man who once flipped tables at press conferences now has to fight for survival against a 20-year-old.
So that new star establishes himself, so we'll just wait and see, but it's exciting.
What do you make of Itauma versus Dillian Whyte?
It's a good fight. Dillian likes to fight. He'll have to tear up. Yeah. You can't test this man's cojones. He'll fight anybody and everybody. So with Dillian doing that, you think, you know what? It's a good fight, good testing fight, and he might be a gatekeeper.
Phenom. Moses might have grown up watching Whyte, but now he's coming to end him. Talk about roles reversed. Johnny Nelson isn't softening the blow either. He sees Whyte as a potential gatekeeper now, and Moses has the keys to blow the gates clean off. Sure, Whyte will show up and scrap. He's always been game, but that's not the point anymore. It's not about just turning up. It's about lasting. And Moses isn't coming to knock politely. He's here to kick the door off its hinges. Andrew McCart lays it bare. This fight isn't happening because Dillian Whyte is chasing legacy. It's happening because the money is on the table and Moses Itauma is the hottest name in British boxing right now. Whyte's star has dimmed. His big fight options—
I mean, I like the fight. The reason being is because Moses Itauma, we've been saying now, is that guy. He needs that test. He needs that step up. And I think Dillian Whyte is that guy. Dillian Whyte's probably found it hard now to get that big fight. He's probably said, I'll fight Moses Itauma if you give me X amount of money. And that's probably why this
have dried up, and this clash might be the last ticket out of the shadows. But here's the twist. What's a cash out for Dillian is a career launching pad for Moses. McCart knows it. Moses isn't just chasing tests, he's collecting names. And if Whyte thinks he's walking into this for an easy payday, he's in for a harsh surprise. Moses isn't here to spar with old lions, he's here to dethrone them. This isn't some respectful passing of the torch, it's a takeover. Enter Gareth A. Davies, who perfectly captures why the boxing world is buzzing about Moses Itauma. You know someone special is emerging when Davies is ringside with mic in hand, eager to dig into the inside scoop. Moses has that effect. He's undefeated, untested, and untouched, and that mystique draws everyone in, from fans to promoters to seasoned pundits. Davies wasn't just casually reporting on this fight, he was applying pressure, eager to see how far Moses could go. That urgency speaks volumes. Nobody wants to miss the breakout moment.
Whole boxing world wanting to go there because Moses Itauma is fascinating. I spoke to Francis Warren ringside on Saturday night. You had a microphone as well. Were you allowed to put the pressure on them to speak? Because I just did anyway. And Francis almost denied.
And there's a real sense this could be it. This fight isn't about giving Whyte another shot. It's about catching Moses early, before he becomes untouchable. Everyone wants a front row seat to witness the coronation. Meanwhile, Dillian Whyte is talking about strategy, timing, and tactical setups. Fair enough, but let's call it what it is. That's the sound of a veteran preparing for a fight he knows won't be easy. Gone are the days of bulldozing opponents. Whyte is speaking like a chess player now, hoping to outthink the young lion. But that's a dangerous gamble. Moses isn't just fast and powerful, his ring IQ is growing at an alarming rate. If Whyte thinks a few clever setups and an old playbook will be enough, he's in for a shock. Moses is no raw, reckless 20-year-old. He's a phenom built for destruction, and he's
more punches than that, and I have a lot more punches than that. So, I'm not just focusing on one punch. I'm focusing more on strategy and getting to the strategic position to learn what we're learning. It's a softball, so you can't just walk up to him and learn left hook and then the same like you do on other people. So you have to set it up and timing and stuff. So yeah, I've just been working more on that.
He's steamrolling everyone in his path. Even respected voices like Adam Smith are struggling to hide their excitement. Smith, always measured and balanced, can barely contain his intrigue. When he calls Moses very, very good, that's practically shouting by his standards. Yet there's a hint of hesitation. Maybe Dillian Whyte is too much, too soon. And that's what makes this such a must-watch showdown. It's the collision of two timelines. Whyte's bruised but battle-hardened past versus Moses's blazing, unbeaten future. If Moses handles Whyte the way he's handled everyone else, there'll be no more questions. He'll no longer be the prospect. He'll be the guy. Full stop. But if Whyte somehow pulls off the upset, he won't just be back, he'll be reborn. He'll prove that there's life in the old dog yet. That's why this fight is more than a bout. It's a statement waiting to be made. Adam Smith lays out the dilemma every fighter faces when standing across from Moses Itauma.
I think he's very, very good, Moses Itauma. So some people might say he'll get rid of Dillian Whyte like he has the others. Maybe not. Maybe Dillian's too much for him at this stage, which is why it's...
This kid's footwork and timing aren't just good, they're deadly. You commit, he counters. You hesitate, he hunts you down. You try to stay safe, and he suffocates you with relentless pressure. Moses operates at a range that seasoned fighters can't even calculate. That's not just raw speed, that's intelligence in motion. Against someone like Moses, toughness and strategy aren't enough. You have to be perfect. And even then, perfection might not save you. That's what makes Moses such a terrifying puzzle. He doesn't just outskill his opponents. He breaks their rhythm, dismantles their plans, and turns the ring into his territory from the opening bell. And that's exactly what Dillian Whyte is walking into. A stylistic nightmare where there's nowhere to hide. Frank Warren knows the difference between flash and fire, and when he talks about Moses, it's with the conviction of a man who has seen champions born. Warren doesn't hand out praise lightly, especially not to hype jobs. Moses isn't just padding his record against journeymen for highlight reels.
with Moses is that his feet and his distance and his range is so good and he's so quick that if you commit to the punches, you're going to get countered. And if you don't, you're going to get backed up and taken out. So it's a real puzzle. There's not many heavyweights that are southpaws. Obviously, Alexander Usyk is, but he's moved up into that domain. And
he's doing damage against seasoned world-class opposition. That's why he rarely goes the distance. It's not because he's untested. It's because most opponents can't survive long enough to test him. Warren has watched champions rise from the shadows, and he sees the same fire in Moses. That's why this fight is massive. If Moses flattens Whyte, nobody can say he's green anymore. Nobody will doubt his class. It will be official. Moses Itauma is a future world champion in motion. Simon Jordan, as always, cuts through the noise with brutal clarity. This fight is happening because Team Moses believes the risk is controlled. They're not throwing him in there to learn. They're throwing him in there to win convincingly. If they truly believed Whyte was dangerous, this fight wouldn't be happening, but that's the point. Moses isn't being protected, he's being positioned. Whyte is a name, a former contender with miles on the clock. He's the perfect opponent to push Moses a few rounds, showcase his skills, and prove just how far ahead of schedule he really is. Jordan draws comparisons to earlier fights against Marius Wack and Dempsey McKee.
Once, but I'm talking about with somebody who doesn't fiddle around, somebody who actually would like to get him in the latter rounds and is capable of knocking people over. You know, he's a puncher. You've seen him do it, and he's done.
Those were warm-ups. This is the next level, but it's not a risk. It's a calculated statement. Moses isn't just expected to win. He's expected to dominate, to make a statement so loud that the heavyweight division can't ignore him. This isn't just another generational clash. It's a full-blown crossroads moment for Moses Itauma. It's his chance to silence every doubter who says too soon and announce to the world that the heavyweight throne has a new contender storming the gates. If Moses demolishes Dillian Whyte the way many expect, the narrative flips overnight. He'll no longer be a prospect. He'll become a force, undeniable, unavoidable, unstoppable. But if Dillian Whyte can do the unthinkable, if he can weather the storm, drag Moses into deep, dirty waters, and expose a flaw nobody's seen yet, he doesn't just save his career, he resurrects it. He becomes the first man to...
I think it's a great fight, you know, but it'll be fascinating to see how Moses goes against Dillian. I don't think they put him in against Dillian Whyte if they think there's real jeopardy for them. I think they might get a few rounds and get asked a few more questions than possibly they've been asked by Marius Wack and Dempsey McKee, but I don't think much...
to show that Moses can be beaten, and that would shake the division to its core. So who really wants it more? Moses is young, hungry, and already looking like the complete package. Whyte is fighting with his back against the wall, and those men are always dangerous. But momentum, skill, and fire all sit firmly in Moses Itauma's corner. This could be the night where hype meets legacy, and legacy wins. The only question left is, where do you stand in this war of eras? Are you backing Moses Itauma to send a message to the entire heavyweight scene? Or do you believe Dillian Whyte has one last shock left in him? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because this isn't just a fight, it's a moment that could shift the entire future of British boxing.